What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only. It is Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, what's going on, buddy?
I was just reflecting. I've finally hit a difficulty section in this game that I shall not be able to talk about for a few days now still. That's a little refreshing, though.
There's always something that stumbles us along the way in our gaming travels, buddy, because you never know what you're going to run into next. That's for sure. But what people can run into is our show over on twitch.tv/theofficial ITG at 11 a.m. Eastern, Monday to Friday, as well as YouTube at ITG. But if you can't join us live when we're there, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, today's show. Well, it's right there in the title, my friend. Ubisoft has once again delayed Skull and Bones. Will we ever see the light of day for this game? Watch out. Watch what you say, as Overwatch 2 will now record your voice chat, and PUBG's creators' next game is coming to the Metaverse. Dude, we got a lot to talk about today. Let's kick it off. It's from the official Ubisoft website, Skull and Bones release date update.
Yeah.
Moment of silence as the ship sinks once again, Scott. Ahoy there, privateers! Our team is hard at work polishing and balancing the experience ahead of the worldwide launch. As a result, we've made the tough decision to move our release date to March 9th, 2023. We're very eager for you all to get your hands on Skull and Bones and dive in headfirst to the dangerous and exciting world of building your own pirate empire. To give you the best possible experience, we've decided to take a little more time to make sure we can deliver exactly that. Scott, I'm just going to throw it to you. What are your thoughts?
Oh, my reaction Well, it remains what my first reaction was on Twitter. You may have caught that, where I said, this is a whole lot of words to say that really means we don't want to release right before God of War Ragnarok. Somebody has made that decision. That's what I believe this is
Sure.
less about polishing, less about balancing, and more about, well, just getting out of the shadow of a ginormous release.
Which I think is the smartest move they probably ever made with this game, Scott.
Yeah.
I saw the delay yesterday and I was like, crap, I get it, but I really just want to play the game. I want to know more. I want hands-on. How is this game shaped up over the past decade of development? Is it good? Is it what we want? Is this the next iteration or level of what Sea of Thieves could be? Sort of thing, right? I have high hopes for the game, but tempered expectations in a sense, right? And we've heard rumblings within the development of the game from the studio themselves saying that even they are worried about the limited content within the game, which makes me nervous, right? Like, dude, I'm excited, but getting the heck out of the way of God of War was a very, very smart move, because when God of War drops, dude, everybody's going to be on that game. It does not make any sense for anybody to be in. You can be, depending on your game, right? Because think about it, Skull and Bones, more or less a semi live service experience, right?
I expect it to be, well, hopefully the shining example of what a live service can be. This is another ginormous medium to put through a huge amount of content.
Yeah, so
it makes me really nervous when they're themselves are worried about it. What is that? I'm so scared for this because it's been nearly a decade that if it comes out, you don't want it to be all for naught.
Oh, no, absolutely not, right? They say for the most eager of you, we are also very happy to announce that we will hold an open beta of the game in the near future. We'll share more news on how you can sign up to register soon. So keep your spyglass trained on our social media for more news and announcements. So we will be getting hands-on, Scott, hopefully for some of us to get in there, experience what we're playing, what the future holds, what it looks like, and is there enough content to keep us going? Because, dude, I love the pirate life. I'm all for it. I want to go out there and do that. But again, even when we watch this, I'm like, yo, this feels very much like Black Flag. It looks like Black Flag from back in the day, right? It doesn't look like it has that next generational jump that you would expect after a game has been in development for 10 years almost.
No, I'm so hopeful though that this can have a decent launch and be supported with content later on down the road.
Yep.
Although I don't like that. That's why I don't like live service games. But the good example of that we've just seen enter full release is Grounded. Grounded came out just as a partial and was filled in along the way. I think it was 2 years later now we're at full release. But I think that game, from all that I can tell, is very well supported and a success story.
Absolutely. It seems to be doing very, very well received. So I have high hopes. Dude, like another one, Cyberpunk got fixed. Like, and we got that coming up on the show today too. And that one's going to be like, that's a surprise. Again, I always go back to No Man's Sky and how that was received with temper reviews and just a lot of tempered expectations coming out of that, a lot of high expectations, and then they were met with unfortunate circumstances, and just it was one of those over-promised experiences. But now I've seen the full light of what the potential of that game is. Dude, they're on like something like 18th update now at this point, all free. So if Ubisoft is able to do that with Skull and Bones and keep our community going within this game, dude, I'm down for that, right? You can do the PvE if you want. You can do the PvP side. So right now in Sea of Thieves, it is literally PvP, and that is it. You don't get that other experience. So if you are out there 4 hours on end and you get all the treasure you kind of want to go cash in, and you get rolled by another ship, too bad. Where in Skull and Bones,
let's live by the sword, die by the sword.
Absolutely, which makes sense, right? And that's Rare's stance on it is, hey, we are a pirate game, So I was kind of surprised to see Ubisoft go, nah, we'll give you the ability just to kind of take your stuff and run
safe mode.
Yeah, more or less. But I think, yeah, again, getting back to the fact that they're just moving out of they say they had internal testing, they had a closed beta, people went in and had a look at the game, played the game, and from that feedback is now what they're taking away from it and going to then polish and fine-tune everything that they've been criticized on for that experience. Hopefully then, which means come March 9th, we have a fantastic game on day one and not a blunder. So
yeah,
high hopes, man. I really have high hopes. I was really hoping to play it this year because I was looking to sail the seas with the other Scott, but it looks like we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer.
You said blunder. Is it gonna be a blunder or is it gonna be a blunder bust?
We'll see, man. I think a lot of us are really worried about it, right? Yes. Okay. Yeah. So we also put up a little community poll over on our YouTube channel. And we have a turnaround of 89% of our votes said no, they're not surprised, and 11% said they were surprised to see this happen. So yeah, it's an interesting little turn of events. Disappointed, sure, but I'm okay with it as well because all of us are just gonna be busy with God of War. So
yeah, yeah, that weekend is already taken.
Oh man, it's gonna be long gone to God of War, but. Scott, let's get into it. We covered it a little bit yesterday, but Overwatch 2 will now record your voice chat. That's it's an interesting one, isn't it? This comes from Dalton Cooper over at Game Ramp. Overwatch 2 has detailed its Defense Matrix initiative to deal with cheaters and generally disruptive players, though part of this is going to require everyone that plays the game to add a phone number to their account and consent to their voice chat possibly being recorded. Overwatch 2 will launch in early access on October 4th. Scott, what are your thoughts on party chat, voice chat getting recorded while you're playing the game?
Well, I'm wondering is this going to be immediately bypassed by party chat services?
Yep.
Can I jump into a party chat and therefore I'm immune from being recorded? And not that I'd be terribly worried personally, but
no.
The idea of digital intrusion is always hot, especially on the mobile market. So it kind of makes me a little bit nervous that this will have a souring effect on the main audience. And I'm not sure if the benefits outweigh that kind of negative perception. I'm already freaked out enough by Facebook that listens to me while I'm near my phone. So I'm wondering what Overwatch is going to do with that.
Yep, absolutely. It does. Man, so many people are concerned with this kind of scenario, right? Where people are always, or companies are starting to listen. And Google, obviously, is one of those. Like, I have a Google Pixel phone. Every now and then, Google just starts piping up. I'm like, yo, I didn't even say anything, right? So it kind of gets into that territory of, are you starting to invade some privacy maybe that you shouldn't be into? And it's kind of one of those things. But I get the toxic environment as well, and that that's what they're trying to counteract here, right? Is really
it's in a noble pursuit, but you don't want the cure to be more damaging than the symptoms.
Absolutely. But then again, like you mentioned, dude, if we're in a party, I'm always in a party chat, Scott. Like I'm never in just regular game chat. And if I am in that game, dude, I'm muted 9 times out of 10 if I'm playing solo. Like the other day I played PUBG and it was just me and a bunch of randoms. Randoms got music going in the background, instantly muted that guy, right? I'm like, what are you doing? So I muted him, but I'm muted too, and we just played the game, right? Like it's one of those things. But if I'm in a game, usually it's a party chat situation because I'm on with friends, unless it's a single player game like God of War Ragnarok coming up, which I cannot wait for. So
it makes you. Does anybody talk trash on the Xbox lobbies anymore? I don't know if it would be an Xbox lobby if there was truly no trash, but at the same time, it's just I've been out of the loop so long, and I think to Battlefield where you can't talk to anybody. You know, it's been so long since I've had a good conversation with a random.
There has been a couple times I've run into people, even on PUBG. The other day I ran into somebody and he's like, yo, let's go this way. And we were able to team up. So that worked. So, you know, as long as the minute someone's toxic, dude, I just mute them and that I don't have to listen to them anymore. Right. It just solves that problem. but they want to be able to counteract these people and then maybe possibly ban them, block them, or whatever they want to do to make sure that they have a fair community that is all on the same page and not going to be disruptive to players every day, which, Siege has an issue, right? Like there's so many games we play that does have that issue. So it's nice to see that they are looking to counteract that in some manner. But Scott, let's move on to, speaking of PUBG, PUBG's creators' next game will have NFTs and the metaverse. Brandon Green reveals Artemis. Let's get into this.
I can barely hold in my excitement.
Oh, stop. It comes from Ryan over at IGN. PUBG creator Brandon Green has revealed his next game, a blockchain-powered metaverse title. During an interview with Hit Points, the 45-year-old game developer revealed that Artemis, his next game, will feature NFTs, the metaverse, and blockchain. Artemis will be a platform that we participate in the maintenance of, maybe, he explained. But it's something that anyone can plug into, and everyone can host a bit of themselves, end quote. Artemis has reportedly let players make anything they like as part of a large open world, but now it looks as though the project will incorporate blockchain. Quote, I was fascinated with the idea of digital spaces, places where there are no real rules, but a set of systems that can be used, end quote, explained Green. Quote, that fascinated me and still does. I never considered just walking away, end quote. Blockchain is often pitched as a way for players to contribute to a game's development, but many developers have come out against the technology, and the likes of Microsoft outright banning the use of NFTs or blockchain. Green insists that Artemis is not about making money. Quote, the only way this exists is it is made for everyone, and it's not made for money, end quote, he said. However, he also confirmed that players will be able to extract value from their creations by selling in-game items to other players. Here's the thing, Scott. Just incorporate some kind of... The more and more I start to pay attention to the metaverse, NFTs, this whole ecosystem of the blockchain, it's not meant for everybody, and not everybody is going to jump into this space, right? I think that's one of the things I'm picking up on.
It seems like an interesting idea, but it also kind of sounds like he's pitching... trying to use a game development thing as a game. It seems kind of weird, like using Unreal Engine as a game to kind of give yourself an excuse to create assets and sell them to other players. I'm sure there's fun to be had in there, but I'm not sure I understand exactly what the selling point is.
Not everybody is that creative type either, though, right? They just want to go in and play. But if they can be supported in some way, and if you don't incorporate the blockchain, NFTs, but incorporate a way for them to buy other assets, give them the ability to do both. If you are in that NFT blockchain marketplace, then you have the ability to use ETH or Polygon or Solana or whatever ecosystem that you're a part of. But if you're not invested into that, are you then just left out into the world of, well, the standard, I'm going to call it as of right now, right? Honestly, like, use your Visa, use your MasterCard, use your debit card, whatever means of access right now that we all pay with on a daily. Dude, my Ultimate Game Pass for Xbox, credit card, right? That's how it works.
Now, if this game it can accept NFTs and has blockchain maneuver, is this going to become a Space Riders Republic?
It's just,
the Bored Ape Yacht Club gets an actual spot. That's what I'm wondering. Maybe it's to appeal to those kind of groups of people.
Maybe it is, but why wouldn't you want to appeal to both? I think is kind of my biggest thing, right? So I don't know. We'll watch Brandon. Obviously, the creator of PUBG had a great vision. PUBG is still one of my favorite battle royales of all time. So it's one of those. I watch the Pro League. Like, it's one of those things. I love PUBG.
Oh, and I can't wait for Callisto to see how that fits into the universe.
It doesn't anymore, they said. So it's that's a weird one, dude. But
it does, but it never did. It was really weird.
You put this article in here next, so why don't you take this one?
Yes. This is Wild Arms and Shadow Hearts creators Kickstarter adds Final Fantasy and Saga composers. Nobuo Uematsu from Final Fantasy and Kenji Ito from Saga, have joined the project. This is from Chris Scullion at VGC. Goes on to write, the world's first double Kickstarter campaign, currently being run by the developers of cult PlayStation RPGs, Wild Arms and Shadow Hearts, has added 2 legendary RPG composers to the project. The unique campaign, which has met its target, is raising money for the development of 2 separate games, Armed Fantasia and Penny Blood. Each is a spiritual successor to the PlayStation games in question. In a new update, it has been revealed that Final Fantasy composer Nobuo Uematsu and Saga series composer Kenji Ito are now both involved in the development of one of the 2 games, Penny Blood. This goes, I'm reading more about Penny Blood here, a JRPG successor to Shadow Hearts that promises to tap into the same gothic horror setting. Takes place around the world, and it's now been confirmed that both composers will help with the music in different locations of the game. I have high hopes for this, actually. These are ginormous composers. Yeah, they're very well known in the space, and if they're going to add any sort of ambience, their talent to this game, that's what I said when I saw this. This is a huge endorsement of what this project is.
Yeah, that has something to weigh in with, right? When you're able to pull in composers such as those guys, that it makes a big impact on where that level of game stands already before even being announced or released. So if you're able to tag on some of those people and say, hey, by the way, we have so-and-so with us now, that's a huge impact. And a lot of investors and people on Kickstarter, obviously, looking to support that, which is great.
Yeah, they've raised $1.9 million so far, and their original goal was $690,000. So already off to some great success.
Yep, absolutely. Speaking of success, Scott, Cyberpunk is selling, man. It's back. This is over on their Twitter. Yesterday, I spotted this. Over 20 million Cyberpunks have been roaming the streets of Night City, partying with Jackie and getting to know Johnny, driving around excuse me, Pan Am, and diving with Judy. Dude, 20 million people. I'm losing my voice now. What's going on, Scott?
It's the shock of Cyberpunk coming all the way back around here.
Wow, that was weird. Just gone. It just vanished on me.
You played it and beat it way, way early now. And I feel like if I do the same, I'm going to have a bit of a better experience.
I think you will. I think a lot of people now are obviously jumping in and getting the proper experience of Cyberpunk. So it's nice to see them make such a leap forward with the game and bring it to a better standard of where we can kind of expect it. I know there's somebody I follow, Ash, over on Twitter, and he says, on PC, this game is absolutely stunning. Like, it is incredible. So I'm waiting for the DLC to come out, and then I'm going to jump back in. But until then, I'm like, I've already beat the story, so it's kind of one of those situations, right? It's already done for me. But there's enough side quests that I can probably go back in and do something.
Whatever happened to the multiplayer on that?
Dude, so I brought that up to Steve Agvari over on Twitter, friend of the show. And he goes, oh, I completely forgot about that. I said, yeah, that is not going to happen now at all. Like, it's been 2 years in development to fix the game. Right. Yeah. So now that's 2 years out of production on whatever the multiplayer was supposed to be. So Steve and I went back and forth a little bit thinking, it's whatever the next spin-off or the next iteration of Cyberpunk will be, could incorporate that multiplayer scenario then. But we're not going to get it now.
That's what I expect out of The Last of Us 2 at this point now.
Oh man, there's another one.
It's been what, 2 years now, and still far too long. Nothing really to show. Yeah.
No, unfortunately, right? So that one's apparently we're going to see next year. So there's going to be a lot going on next year for The Last of Us, which is pretty exciting. But we'll see what the future holds now for their multiplayer for Cyberpunk, if there is going to be anything at all. But I don't think we'll get it for Cyberpunk 2077, maybe 2078 or whatever they call the next game. So yeah, we'll see what the future holds there. But
I'm
20 million people
experiencing huge success now because Cyberpunk as a subgenre is really underexplored.
Yeah, well, and you know what? It's CD Projekt Red making good on where they had their vision, I think, too, right? So, but. Scott, before I lose my voice once again, what games do we have out today?
We have a pretty solid list here this time. We've had a bit of a spotty schedule over the week here, but we have Brewmaster on PC. We have Dwarf Romantic on Switch. Sounds like Dwarf Romantic, but it is not. Let's Build a Zoo is on PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, XS, and Switch. Moonbreaker is on PC. Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous is on Xbox One, XS, PlayStation 4, and Switch. Picross S8 is on Switch. And Valkyrie Elysium is on PlayStation 4 and 5.
So Valkyrie Elysium is something that Steve and I are working on for the show right now. We're working on hopefully to have that out on episode 187. So we'll be reviewing that one next week, and then you can see our content the following week. Dude, Moonbreaker though, Subnautica team, completely shocked that that was out today. I somehow missed it. I want to check out that game. Have you seen anything on it?
No, I've lost track of this one.
Okay, so this
I have
one,
moon scars floating around in my head still.
well, with good reason. You just reviewed it for the show, so that makes a ton of sense. But for Moonbreaker, you craft your own little figures, kind of thing. Like you paint them and then put them in the world and then battle them out. And I'm like, yo,
oh, that's cool.
It is cool. It looks cool. It was a big shock coming out of the team though, who worked on Subnautica, which is a survival underwater situation kind of game, right? So for them to really jump ship and move into a whole other landscape, dude, I'm so disappointed that I missed that it was out today. So I have to go snag it and take a look. But it looks really cool. It's something I definitely want to check out. Are you going to check out Valkyrie Elysium at all?
I'm very curious to, but I don't know enough about it really.
So I can talk about it actually quickly. It is an interesting story set in Valhalla. Like it is. I was talking to Steve about it last night. I'm like, dude, this is not the Valhalla from Assassin's Creed. I'll tell you that.
No, you just made me laugh. Is there more content to Valhalla?
Oh man, hopefully not. Well, they're launching another tomb, but that's a whole other situation. But it's one of those things. Valkyrie Elysium though, pretty cool, right? It definitely feels in that vein of Final Fantasy, but it's not turn-based. It is action-packed. It is
Okay.
so you're free to go at will. They're really pretty good hack and slash with a bunch of combos, spells, powers. A little repetitive on the enemy type already though, I'm telling you. And I'm 3 hours in, Scott, so it kind of tells you where that's at. But that's going to wrap up today's show, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us live at 11 a.m. Eastern over on twitch.tv/the official ITG, as well as YouTube at ITG. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside the game.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Until tomorrow, everybody, I'm Drew, that's Scott. We'll see you inside the game.